manage both lanes.
Exactly right, but here we are, onto the Rift for game number 2. All right, I like it. We've got Rascal going back, choosing a different skin. He now has a real weapon. That is an upgrade. Jax is well and truly upgraded. Ready to do some battle with his pike.
My
or
favorite.
Polearm, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Pike.
a polearm.
I think it's a is it?
Let me get a closer look. Hold on, stop doing that, Rascal.
Yeah, can we just check it out for a second? This is why we need Keystone in our ear, so that we can talk to him. Of course, fantastic observer, or Jonah Strong, of course, whoever is doing the work today.
It's my favorite Victor skin also. It's the one I use, that Fate's using. I don't know what it's called. I never know the skin names, but it's my favorite.
I like the one that ShowMaker uses that makes him look like he's wearing insect scales.
Yeah, that one's cool too.
Mainly because I'm an old school Victor guy, and I believe that was the release skin that was slightly cheaper. I think, no, it wasn't. It was the expensive one. It was the 975 one.
Expensive ones are usually the good ones, you know.
Yeah, that is how they get you. That's how they get you. As Canyon going to be starting on his Raptor camp, and we'll see how this laning phase is going to go. Whether ShowMaker can once again have the level of power in lane as he did last time around. Of course, a little bit more difficult to do in this particular matchup because Victor can kind of hold his own against the Syndra.
Yeah, you can, of course, with the new jungle pets, clear those Raptors very quickly. The pet will AoE, so much nicer start here for Canyon than you would normally have, so we can clear those, go into the Krugs, which are also kind of nerfed in terms of how long it takes to clear them. Just gonna have a nice start here. And ShowMaker's Syndra, this is 2021 ShowMaker here, 19-8, was the good first pick, blue side, like blind pick. Everyone was picking Syndra for so long in 2021 spring. It was kind of boring there for a while, but then she disappeared for a while, and we're glad she's back. At least I am.
Yeah, I'm glad she's back as well. Slight update as well with how she works. No longer just upgrading when you get spells to max rank. It's all about getting them splinters working. We'll see how that one is going to go, as Fate not going to get stunned, but still has to use the flash. So Canyon, successful gank straight out the gate here, 2.5 minutes.
Yep, no commitment from ShowMaker or Canyon and Summoners. Just the scatter attempt alone forces him to flash. He dies 100% if he gets caught by that, then gets queued by Canyon.
Ooh, Deft able to spell shield a bit of the incoming danger. As BeryL with his life just a little bit. Heal is going to be thrown out here. Flash forward from BeryL. Man, they are playing some aggressive League of Legends here towards the bottom side, but it's going to bite him in the backside. BeryL goes down. First blood goes to Kellin.
It's such a BeryL move right there. You can see the blood in the water. He's like, I can pull this off. We have the ignite.
Oh, Canyon.
Oh, this is
Canyon.
rough.
He read him like a book. And Croco's like, okay, never mind, I'm getting out. The cat is going to dive after them, and that's going to mean the escape route has been put in place. But man, does Canyon just have like
he's
black
got map
sheep wall?
hacks,
Black
like,
sheep wall? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, he's got map hacks. He knows what's going on. He's just got such a great game sense. And when you're trying to play around top side like this, after you make a bottom side play like that, where BeryL dies, you've got to get something cross map. You're trying to set up things on both sides of the rift, but it's pretty easy for Canyon to figure out there's a high possibility of this. He's there to punish, forces the gank to fail, and still a significant CS lead for Rascal this time around, having a much better time in this lane than he did in the previous game. And remember, he forced Hop at level 1 last game. Yeah, so very different game here, but he's having a much better job, or having a much better time this time around. But let's go back to this bottom gank, where BeryL is super low, and they heal to engage to put him into flash range here, but it just doesn't matter. Sivir's damage is too high at level 2.
In the meantime, bit of a battle here as Fate's going to go down. That's the resonating strike. We knew that he was going to fall, but Croco not able to get anything in response. And this game, last time around, DRX were able to get that first blood, start off on a decent footing. This time around, it's all D plus Kia.
All I can think about is that, BeryL gank there, bottom side, the flash forward ignite, and I think this really, this is a matchup that normally goes pretty back and forth. It's a slow, boring matchup where one player doesn't have insane prio, or one duo doesn't have insane prio. You don't actually have a massive amount of control, but because of that play, they actually do get a huge edge. Let's watch how this one started off. The scatter is dodged, but it forces Fate to kite left, where Canyon actually catches him, can connect the Q there, and just jump past Croco for the kill.
Yep. Croco is going to now start his work on the Hex Tech Drake. So at least first Drake likely going over to DRX here, and of course, no one really in the... Oh, never mind. There is a control ward down, but it's just Kellin. So you can't actually you and me to a ward, and therefore he's not going to be able to get in there and try and steal it away or anything like that. Canyon nowhere near the vicinity. So, bit of good news here for DRX as they take down the Dragon. But that is, I mean, we're clutching at straws when it comes to DRX good news here in game number 2.
Yeah, it has been, I think, really just about Rascal, and we haven't panned up to the top lane too much, but as 6 is hit for Canna, this lane can change quite significantly. You could see it on the minimap how it has changed, or where the position of the wave is, but at least Rascal has taken a pretty nice edge up there in the top side, and that's one of your big win conditions later on with this Victor comp, where you have the scaling with Zeri Victor, but you also have the ability to threaten team fights on your terms despite the good engages if that Jax can side lane and put the threat on those inner turrets and inhibitors when we get to the late game. Got a lot of win conditions, but so far it's been pretty smooth sailing here for Dom1, or rather D+.
Yeah.
I'm going to get fired.
Yeah, Nar is going to get avoided. It's all right. I'll be in your corner trying to defend if indeed that does come to pass, Wolf, because I've been struggling with it as well.
Like, I was feeling really good about it at the beginning. I'm like, wow, I really haven't made any mistakes. And then it was like just a chain of them.
Yeah.
Once you get confident, that's when you slip.
Yeah. But what I was feeling really self-conscious about it, and then Valdez just like straight deadpan just makes the mistake and doesn't even notice on the no carpet space, and so it made me feel a little bit better about the situation. But I think I've been doing the same thing the entire time, because I don't remember making a mistake, but I think I just say it wrong now because I'm so used to it.
That's the scary part.
Yeah. I think it's a play-by-play problem, because we don't have a lot of filter between our brain and our mouth, so we don't do a lot of thinking before we say stuff.
You don't have a lot of time. You got to talk really fast.
Yeah, that's
hard.
kind of it. Anyway, excuses. We are going to do better in the future.
Yeah.
It does see the back here as ShowMaker goes home.
G-Sun's going to have to impose a Chun-On fine. Like, we have to pay 1,000 won every time we mess it up.
Yep. It's exactly how it goes.
Start stacking it up. Rascal's going to respect the Gnar this time. Didn't take a very bad trade before. Like, Kanna's not able to chunk him down. So remember last time around this time of the game, Canna was able to get a solo kill with this wave. Won't be the case this time, but he's going to look for the Demolish proc on the turret. Yep. Rascal says no.
Yeah, the hop to answer the counter-strike, and that means that there is a decent sort of way of playing around Jax in what can be a very difficult time against this guy. Well, you can see, things not going quite as badly in the lanes for DRX. I feel like everything else has gone wrong this time around, outside of just laning phase becoming a huge issue. We'll see whether they can leverage that in order to make things better for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, deokdam has a significant, it's not massive, but significant CS lead. So, you know, despite dying, or BeryL dying, despite losing the support here, the lane is still going just fine, and Zeri is still at the normal place you'd want to be. Gotta be careful about doing this again, though.
Yeah, there's the heal. Ghost is being popped as well from Deft. So, doesn't land the Boomerang Blade. There's now Canyon coming on in, looking to start Shelly off one more time, but back down here towards the bottom side. Gotta see whether any more action is going to come through. Prowling Projectile mitigated by the shield.
Yeah, this is just locking down the 2v2 so they can try to hold this Herald as much as possible. Canna has Prio topside, pushing Rascal back. Croco comes over here, but they have mid-Prio too. This is risky from Croco, just wants to go for the smite. Kicked away.
There's the kick. Smite does come through, but it's a little bit early. The smite comes in! Oh, Canyon. Not able to poke her in the eye, unfortunately. So that is going to be Croco returning the favor from game 1.
Yeah, I think that's what he was thinking, is just I'm going to smite poke. Okay, BeryL.
Oh, yeah, there it is. But deokdam's here with the answer, trying to get aggressive. Kellin has to use the exhaust here, and things are getting real dangerous, and this is where the real danger comes in. ShowMaker coming down towards this bottom side. Gets the flash out of deokdam.
You see that orb, and you flash.
Oh, yeah.
Might not have seen the Syndra before that. I think they probably did with that control ward, but when you see that orb, you flash, no questions asked. deokdam gets out of dodge. But that's huge, actually, that Croco steals away the Rift Herald here. That's a lot of gold they can pick up here. Could change the way this top lane is going to go potentially here, or actually drop it mid. Got a lot of options here, but either way, just a missed eye poke there from Canyon with the early smite, and Croco steals it away.
Yeah, I actually think it could be really impactful, because a lot of the reason why things went wrong for DRX was the, oh, okay, getting rid of a minion wave as best we can. Croco's going to come on over, and this may actually help delay some sort of Rift Herald placement.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to allow this one to go over for free, and obviously Canyon knows Croco doesn't have ult for a little bit longer here, so they can make this play pretty safely. As still Deft losing a little bit of CS bottom side here.
Yeah, it's actually really good play from deokdam as far as making sure he keeps those CS numbers up despite the early death for BeryL. Things otherwise in the lane definitely going well. Teleports come through back towards his top side. Rascal comes on in. Doesn't quite finish off his Divine Thunder just yet.
He does not want Canna to get these demolishes. He does not want him to get that plate. He's going to get it anyways, I think. As well, I guess we'll never know. So let's watch this. So this is early game, right? So Smite down to 300. I think he was hoping he was going to get the eye, and Shirley turns.
Yeah, Shelly just turned around,
turns.
man. Sometimes she just does that to you.
Because you know, as Canyon in this case, you should get the eye poke because Croco's so far away. But he just, unfortunately, isn't able to get it. It's going to be mid-plates here for Fate.
Yeah, if her eye had been opened in the right direction, it would have been just Smite, eye poke, and she would have died. So, sad stuff, but still, great work there from Croco to make sure that he capitalizes effectively. DRX now moving in. Try and get some stealing done. Canyon over here does have his cat available as Deft avoids the extendo beam.
I mean, deokdam and BeryL have done such a great job of controlling this bottom 2v2, and Croco hasn't been needed so much that he's been able to stack up a lot of extra farm. They have a lot of ward control here that Fate's been maintaining. 2 control wards now, in fact, in the river. So they feel pretty good with Croco's ult coming back up here, Smite coming back up, to start this Drake up and look for a great turn with Maokai.
Sonic Wave doesn't quite find the mark. Deft here as well on the hunt at the ready. Collapse is coming through. Rascal, no teleport available, but isn't showing on the map. He could theoretically be walking down. Nature's Grasp comes in, but once again, it's a little bit early. Deft has the spell shield, but it is going to make sure that they guarantee the Drake. Can they survive the fight, though, as deokdam throws through the ultimate? He's going down so incredibly low, though. The flash comes in from Deft, and the exhaust is there to confirm the kill. Now Croco is fighting against Canyon, flashes the wall very, very nicely to keep himself alive. Release for now. ShowMaker not going to be able to quite find it. And D plus Kia able to find themselves yet another fight win.
Another fight win. The objective goes DRX's way, and they were spreading a lot of, or very little butter over a lot of bread there, DRX, and trying to hold this down, using the Maokai ultimate, then using the gravity field from Fate to try to lock down anyone from D plus Kia who chases through the choke point. Unfortunately, just a little bit too mobile there. They do end up getting through and grab that kill onto deokdam. But the angle here for the root for Maokai also not amazing. Canyon slips through, and that's part of why he gets this taxi through. Decides to go for BeryL here, has to flash out. deokdam just left all on his lonesome. Cool idea here in terms of the heist for DRX. Ult with Maokai, put that gravity field down. Meanwhile,
all right, Counter-Strike does manage to get the stun here as the wall-up comes in. Canna has to throw through the ultimate just for defense, and Canyon comes on in a little bit late. Does secure the cannon, however, so no -1s in the chat. That's a +1 right there.
+1 indeed. This is a very close game. I mean,
yeah.
In a lot of ways. DRX down 1,000 gold, but having that objective lead going into Mountain Soul for their Zeri that's already so difficult to kill with so much peel here in this comp is a scary prospect, and D plus Gear are going to need to start winning some team fights soon.
Yeah, it's about how these compositions also function in the later stages of the game. I do feel like there is a lot of power for DRX once they do get to that point. We're already seeing that deokdam has found a couple of these angles, but just doesn't quite have the damage just yet to really capitalize on it. We know kind of what's going to happen when eventually that critical mass is hit and that Zeri moment gets certified.
Yeah, because both of the real team fight wins here for D plus Kia were kind of very even here. And also we have this new graphic that shows you exactly where the gold went. LCK upgrading this year.
I know.
But both of the fight wins for D plus Kia were kind of punishes rather than I'm in control, I've set this up, we're going to take this objective, we're going to control it. So I'd like to see D plus Kia try to get a little bit more setup on these objectives. Look at the vision around Drake right now. Bottom side of the map is completely covered. There's a ward where Canyon is as well. So a lot of the movements here for D plus Kia are seen by DRX, which allows them to react appropriately. Rascal just going to sit this Narbar out.
Yep. And even on farm now, as Wallop does come through, Crush going to get him out of the way there. As the house has a decent hitbox on it, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
As Cannon's going to try this one yet again. This time he brings his cat with him, which I think is just a great thing to do. Just, if in doubt, bring your cat with you. It'll make you feel better.
deokdam pushing this turret bottom side all the while, so DRX want to slow this down while Zeri gets some extra gold. And Deft is just hitting, you know, of course, the Herald itself, so not getting the same amount of CS, so deokdam getting a lot of value out of this. I don't think he'll quite get the entirety of the turret, but he got it very low.
He did indeed. No plates to worry about.
He's gonna get it.
Yeah, it's just being able to get down here, take down this turret. That is going to be their first of the game, and in fact, first Brick going over to the Zeri. That is really big.
I think the DRX making some great macro calls in this game.
Yeah. It's Counter-Strike just to make sure that no shenanigans come through from the Nah. Deft at a pretty good point when it comes to being able to hoover up these waves, as Sivir loves to do as the game goes on longer and longer. Just with Kraken Slayer for now, but looking to grab that next item as soon as he possibly can.
And even with a small lead here for D plus Kia, without a 2 Drake advantage right now, even if they take this next one, there's no way to kind of lock the door on this area and say, all right, I'm going to shut you down right here. This is where we're going to start to take control of the map. They can win a very strong team fight here and a decisive one that'll give them a huge edge across the map, but you need to make sure that setup is there. Kraken Slayer is up, obviously, for Sivir. She spikes a little bit earlier when we get to these 3rd Drake fights where it's just that Kraken Slayer versus the Immortal Shield Bow, but it's all about the setup, right? Because if Zeri can shoot a lot for a long time, she will get more value, right?
Yeah.
The longer fight is hers, especially when you have a Victor versus the Syndra that's a little bit more engage-based.
Yeah. Although, you know, Sivir no slouch in the DPS department either, so eyes are going to be on both of these critical AD carries in these scenarios. I think that, you know, Zeri has certainly been a little bit more of an issue in more recent games, but still, not going to sleep on the Sivir factor. Orbs being thrown through, because I like the butterflies in the orbs on this skin. Bit of a fan, not going to lie.
Yeah.
But DRX getting pushed away. Boomerang Blade not going to get quite as much value as it looked like it was going to there onto Fate. Still, absolutely no worries. Rascal going to have to leap strike, get himself out of the way. They wanted a control ward in there, but it is going to be immediately removed. As we're fighting towards the very first Mountain Drake of the game.
Okay, Fate's coming down. His positioning is really good here. No one's threatening him at the moment. Gotta be careful about Scatter.
Yeah, decent stun. And you can see what happens once one of those CCs does connect. Prowling Projectile comes down. Possibly the final chapter is going to be used. The go button could be pressed there by Deft as well. As the Rift Herald does come through. That is going to buy a lot of space here. I really like it from D plus Kia. They are forcing DRX through the do-si-do on their terms. They're going to be able to get the charge. That is going to guarantee vision control of this river as well, because this mid lane is now very long for DRX.
Fate going to back here and TP back in if they're going to actually commit to the Dragon. And I think they will. This is a really tense moment because they're not set up anymore for a great Maokai ult. In fact, I think they're just going to let this one go. Fate TP's bottom side, though, and they're trying to push this bot wave out. They're not trying to position for the Drake on the actual river itself, but instead around the map, trying to pull D plus Kia down to answer that wave. And as a result, have wrestled back control. Croco's now in a position where he can use that Maokai ult for zoning.
Yeah. Croco got the evolution to Blaziken there, I believe, as well. Definitely very, very good. Might have been Charizard, but it felt 3rd generation to me.
Yeah.
As, okay. D plus Kia, can they get themselves the steal? They want to do so to avoid the soul point that will be available here. Could potentially just go for a fight instead, as now Croco getting a bunch of this help back. There's the Nature's Grasp. Now he's just looking for Deft. Dives towards him. That's going to be the secure of the Dragon for D plus Kia, and it's a disaster in its entirety for DRX. Oh my goodness, it couldn't have gone more wrong, as the Q does miss there from Canyon, but he's got a safeguard. The skate over the wall. Is the Q going to connect? No. But deokdam is on the wrong side of the planet. Now, Deft is going to come on in. I guess no one really wants to try and tango with this Zeri, who's now underneath the turret. Deft does eventually take it down.
And this
that was not it for DRX.
This time, D plus Kia are going to have their cake and eat it. Is trying to dive through here and actually force this fight so deep into the backline onto Deft with the knock up there from Lulu is so aggressive that everybody is trapped here. You're dealing with Syndra, you're dealing with Meganar, and you've just walked right into all the CC. You need to carefully position around because you've decided now's the time we're going to dive the AD carry. And the result is disastrous. D plus Kia walk away with Dragon and a massive team fight win. So much money for Deft. 4 kills now in his pocket, and this game was close until this moment. Now D plus Kia have really pulled ahead.
Yeah, and I was focusing a lot on the Drake in that last fight, but Canna getting over that wall, narring everyone in, really just put a big stopper on what DRX wanted to do. So once again, Canna's Gnar is just really good. And you can understand why they're putting so much priority on it. Of course, Canna has been a real mastery player. I think we began talking about mastery players when the likes of Crown was still playing here in the LCK back in years like 2017 with his Malzahar and stuff like that. But he's the type of player that really latches on and plays extraordinarily well on a few picks at any one time. But those picks are really, really good. It used to be like Lucian and Graves and stuff like that. But this Gnar has always been sort of in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But it's looking like it is starting to move up to #1 here after today. And it certainly is based on the stats that we have for 2023.
And okay, well.
I've buffed
He's not alone.
Canna twice,
Yeah.
unless
Cat and Elise Sin are coming down.
just barely breezed past him there. As the final chapter comes in, they know that he cannot move, gets kicked back, and there's the Gnar into the wall. A very dead Jax that was just trying to split push, and then a blind dude with a cat came into his lane.
The grasping at straws for DRX in the series is very, very strong. As TP is going to be committed to, they can't actually cross-map this. ShowMaker can buy unlimited time, clears the wave.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, as DRX, you've lost control of the bottom side lane. I mean, Sivir is just going to go over there and lap up the turret gold. And, like, when you look at how this comp functions as DRX, it is basically a long-term, longer fight Victor Zeri comp. But when you try to force dive, like you saw on the Deft, it can backfire because there's so much peel. When you try to force side lane engages, we talked about how great Jax is in the side lane. Okay, try to kill the Gnar, try to get on top of him, but he kites you, gets his speed up, and then you take so long that Canyon has enough time with the speed boost from Yumi to come in here and take you out. Narbar's done, easy peasy cleanup. And this is just, unfortunately, desperation and a small macro mistake from Rascal, thinking he had enough space to pull this off, but in the 1v1 was going to struggle, but in a 1v3, no chance.
Absolutely. And I even think that Rascal might have been able to make something happen in the 1v1 if it was just them left alone and kind of didn't want to leave. Like, maybe there's a chance there, but even the cross-map afterwards doesn't work. And oftentimes when you're playing these 1-3-1 style of compositions, even if the top laner dies in the split, you then are able to leverage that to get something cross-map. But that also just did not happen because Canna still had the teleport available, could get up there to defend not only the top outer turret, but ShowMaker as well. And
Syndra's wave clear, you know, it's just so easy to wipe those minions off the map and say, you can't dive this anymore. There's no minions here. It's not going to happen. And kind of gives his teleport kind of in response, like, yeah, you saved me, I'll save you in a lot of ways. Like, my team saved me, and I'm going to make sure that Syndra's okay topside, ShowMaker's fine, and now he's just back in the bot lane, pushing again, that turret's down. And this suddenly feels like a game where Kia is in complete control. Instead of punishing DRX's setups, now DRX can't even set up on these objectives.
Not a chance. So now, D plus Kia on a bit of a push in the mid lane. Canna splitting on the bottom side. ShowMaker doing the same, top side of the map. Shadow Flame is done here. Feels like a lot of these item spikes are coming in a little bit too late for DRX. ShowMaker now holding down the fort. Was presenting a bit of a target for himself as DRX just desperate to try and find a team fight that's going to work out. Deft maybe out of position. Chaos Storm comes in. Feeling like maybe that was the option, but now Canyon lands that Q and thinks about going for his own battle. Rascal's going to teleport into the mid lane. That is going to spell the end of the aggression. Decent amount of damage onto BeryL there with the Force of Will.
Yeah, it's a support still going to eat so much just from Force of Will alone. ShowMaker, level 14, but he is going to hit hard.
And I don't even think he needs the true damage portion of the upgrade of that ability to do true damage to BeryL right now, as Rascal thinks like he's found Canna. now in the back of this pit. Bit of the Thunderdome there happening, and Canna wants out. He's just going to bounce over that wall quite nicely.
Remember, have we learned DRX? You're going to have to play this one slower. Do not heavily commit to the back line, or you will be crushed by all the CC this comp has to offer, especially when Narbar is up. Got to play this one slow.
Yeah, bit of a Rascal flank to come through here as well. Does have the ulti available if they want to go for something. Decent poke damage onto ShowMaker there, as now we've got Meganar. D+ here, it's time to go for a bit of a battle, and once again, it's kind of just looking for that angle, looking for that approach.
Should just let this time out, play it slow, pull the Drake back. Rascal tracks it, knows where the Narbar is, maybe look for a turn here.
Yeah. Now they can dive onto him, but Canyon's just going to dive over. There is the final chapter. It's a fair bit invested as they just boot him into the Dragon Pit. Nature's Grasp going to come through. Canna is out of this fight completely, but that teleport is just about to be back up yet again. And he can start recharging that Narbar one more time. He's going to go home, get that health back. DRX is going to desperately try and secure this Dragon in the meantime. Fate going a little bit too far forward there, but does a lot of work onto ShowMaker in that backline. Rascal now takes control of the Drake, but here comes Canna. He doesn't have any Narbar, but does he even need it? Fate is going to be taken down first. That's another kill for the Sivir. Canyon grabs another, and the Dragon is just going to be forgotten because D+ here just want to kill all of DRX's members. It is finally going to be taken down here, but now it's hide and seek as DRX attempts to escape.
It looked like the fight that would never end, but Canna surviving is massive. Comes in there, hops over the wall. He's not done yet either. He's got a Yuumi on his back, and he wants to make sure this is a full wipe. Rascal also out of luck, and this may be the beginning of the end of this game.
Oh, there's the counter-strike. There he goes. 1,000 gold for the Jack. So that is definitely good news, but the good news is going to stop there for a moment because now Croco is circling the drain. There he goes. But still, Rascal, last man standing, is going to be able to pick up a bunch of extra money.
Yeah, he picks up 1,000 gold, be able to, easily escape and go home here. I think he wanted to stick around for those extra minions, but BeryL said, nope, you're going home. I'm going to hold this wave. But this fight lasts forever, right? And DRX really got split and had to come around the back of this pit. And once again, it's this Rascal engage. He uses his cooldowns, and then Canna's like, you can't peel through your backline anymore. Jax can do nothing. Look at where Rascal is in this fight, and Canna's like, I'm back here, I'm full health, I got hop, I'm going over the wall. And DRX are trapped between a rock and a hard place. I know that's our favorite thing here to say on the LCK.
Hey, first time of the year, though.
Yeah, first series of the year, first time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we would go to the end of this, and it's just really sad. But I think that Damwon Ki are just so patient, even against the Victor comp, where there's so much long-term damage, the Victor can keep chipping away.
As managed to get that kill as well. Okay.
Rascal is at like 0 health. Let's see how this happens. Oh, Deft just walks forward, and that's wow. Okay.
Deft was just like, but I can just hit him with one ability. It's fine. What is Jax
What does
doing
Counter-Strike do? I can still shoot him while he's doing that, right? It happens to all of us. You know?
It does. Happens to the best of us. Quite literally, it just did right then. We saw that.
You have 1 health in League of Legends, you still do the same damage as if you have all of your health.
Yeah.
And if you can't die, you will do it if you can close that gap.
Well, it's now 3-item Sivir, so as much as that was great for Rascal to grab the 1,000 gold from getting that kill, he is 100% of his team's killed right now. And that isn't a good thing. Sometimes that's a good thing, because it's like, I've had such a great early game. Look at all these kills. Not so this time around. There's D+K just moving towards this mid-inhibitor turret. The Baron is actually still alive, but they're still just going to try and break things open. Turret going to fall down towards the top side of the map. Good wall up there as Canna avoids the counter-strike stun. And the rest of D+Kia are on their way towards this top side. Canyon not wasting any time. Glitterlance is going to go wide. That actually might spell the death. No, it doesn't. As Canyon went for a bit more of the greedy Sonic Wave, aiming for BeryL. Scout of the week, not going to find Croco there.
But this is going to be the end of this turret, and so much control around the Baron pit. DRX have 1 controller left in the pit, but it'll be cleared very quickly. And this becomes another jockey for position around an objective here. Canyon will likely go over there and clear that one out. I guess not.
Yeah.
Just not going to clear that one. But look, DRX's win conditions here are, once again, longer team fights around objectives. And at the beginning of the game, they were doing a great job of starting that poke war off with Fate and getting into position to chip away at the front line. wait for Canna's Narbar, play it out slowly. The way they played that second major Drake fight was way better than the last time where they tried to dive in and kill Deft, which failed miserably. But it still wasn't enough in the end because they chased so far towards Canna, and he escapes, that they're on the wrong side of the pit. Damwon, or rather D+Kia, actually get back control. And with the amount of control they have on the map, they can just, after resetting, group up here on Baron. We will hopefully see that ward cleared this time around. They just aren't going to check the pit.
Yeah.
But that's okay, it happens. And I mean, now as DRX are like, okay, we're looking for that third item, Zeri. Got that point now, let's check that box.
Yep.
But need a real team fight where she actually gets to pop off and Canna doesn't actually control the entirety of the team fight. It feels like this has just been Kanna's Gnar day.
It certainly is. And he's been playing around his Narbar very well. I thought that at the beginning of that last battle, right, when Canna went down extraordinarily low, had to back, that was a possibility for DRX to get in there. They played around the Narbar very well. They saw it go off, and then they waited and waited and waited, and then went for the battle then. That's precisely what you want to aim to do, but the way that D+Kia just respect it, they back away as well. They make sure that they don't give away any dragons in the meantime, but it is all about playing around exactly when he can be powerful, because without that big Gnar to be that front line and to also threaten with that AoE CC, then D+Kia don't really have as much of a dangerous CC force in this composition, right? It's just, you know, like a Yuumi ult or an amazing
Syndra.
kick from Canyon or these scatters, but it's less the sort of big circle of death that you can have. It's Twisted Advance to get Croco in there, but immediately he wants to get out. The kick flash going to come through there, and Deft handed yet another kill. And without the jungler, I think it might be Baron time, Wolf. I'm not entirely sure.
I think you could be sure of that. A pretty bizarre call from Croco here to go in when his team is still managing that mid wave. At least they could trade it for Soul Point, but Soul Point's not even Soul. Feel really bad about this one as a DRX fan as Croco goes in alone. The rest of the team isn't there for a follow-up. There's just no vision, really, for what he's trying to accomplish there. He goes to the stun and the follow-up ult, and then you see Fate come through. deokdam's really close by. You can burst a lot of those health bars down, and even if Croco dies, you're like, okay, did all the health bars of damage, though, we can win the longer fight. Now, you've lost control of the game, and with these empowered minions, D+ are going to at least take out this inhibitor, maybe more.
Yep, and the back is going to be stopped here onto deokdam. He gets to skate over the wall, but that's so much of the damage taken away from the defense of the base. The inner turret is going to be taken here on the bottom side of the map as Canyon comes down. There is going to be a Jax to help defend for deokdam, but I think D+Kia might be equipped with a little bit more destructive power onto this base as Fate has to flash. I don't think it's going to be enough to save him here as Deft gets yet another kill. He is on such a rampage right now, even though it isn't necessarily literally a rampage, and he's also just going to get taken down. The Jax turning up in the nick of time, and it feels like Deft's one weakness is Jax.
Yeah, it's been Jax getting into melee range of a Sivir. Somehow, it's happened twice, and 2 times Deft has died, as this time Rascal commits the flash to take him out, and very successful play there, shuts down the end of the game. At least DRX can hang on, and they do have Soul Point, but can they get Canna? I don't think so.
Not this time. ShowMaker going to return the favor from earlier, teleport in to this turret to see what they can do. Zumi's going to come down, and the boomerang connects onto Croco. Hop to buy some space. Nice sidestep, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save Croco's life, who just gets electrocuted. My goodness.
Croco, such a great aggressive player throughout his career. You know, we commentated him at the Kespa Cup, you and I. It was kind of one of the first looks of him. We saw him over the next 2 years of the LCK. There's just going to be a replay of Fate getting taken out. You can see Deft get flashed on when Jax appears. But, you know, beyond some of the consistency we've seen from him in early games especially, you know, you compare him to a player like Dread. Very good at the early game, super strong at snowballing games. You get to the late game, sometimes it feels like some of these engages are a little bit forced, and he's been punished so many times on this Maokai. 4 deaths now to his name, and D+, they're 7,000 gold ahead, and they're looking to end this game as quickly as possible. We're in a low state in terms of objectives here, but they still have 30 seconds left of Baron buff, and they're getting everything they can with it. One mistake from DRX, and this is a 2-0 finish.
Yeah, the problem is that, yeah, it's Fate and Croco that just aren't really offering too much to this game right now, and BeryL also hasn't necessarily found too many of his big wild growth angles that he has found in the past. This base 100% in tatters right now as Deft is looking for even more. Extendo Beam just going to get eaten by a spell shield. Deft not showing too much fear so far, as we saw from his bounce with Rascal. This Nexus turret not long for the world. Can D plus Kia actually do it right here and confirm and solidify their first 2-0 win of the season? Final chapter comes in, going to be answered by a stopwatch being broken by Rascal. Gets himself out of the way. The Unleashed Power comes in from ShowMaker, so that's a button that isn't going to be available. However, it is going to spell the end of this Nexus turret as well. So naked Nexus now for D plus to try and take down. Canna charging up his Naba, but deokdam actually does a fair bit of damage at this stage of the game.
He has GA, so he can just engage and sacrifice his first health bar.
Yeah, that's true. Just going to be that body into that front line. The wallop is going to be fantastic. Counter-Strike doesn't last forever, even though he wishes it could. As, oh no! Not quite enough to be able to take down the Jax there, as Croco is going to fall. Canyon gets it as he's getting Bramble smashed away. D plus Kia just trying to get as many of the extra kills as they can.
Deft's like, check those inhibitor timers. I've been here before.
All right, I can tell you, we still got like 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes, Wolf. I think we're going to be fine. Although they haven't done very much damage to this Nexus right now. As, oh, Sonic Wave going to miss, but the Scat of the Week is pretty good, Rascal. The one dangerous thing in Deft's mind right now as Boomerang Blade comes in, but ShowMaker this time the Unleashed Power is going to come back up again and isn't going to be mitigated by the Jax. And finally, the Nexus will go down. D plus Kia.
The cooldowns as well.
The got BeryL is my favorite part from that one. Of course, you can remember Deft talking about BeryL staying up all night to try and take down his former team. Well, now Deft is on that former team, and so is probably pretty keen to make sure that he can stand his ground against the guy that has been the downfall of what was Dumb One Kia last year.
I think we've seen